Big Z Reviews. Hi, my name's Brandon Zarzyczny, but you can call me Big Z. And today I'm doing a book review for The Bone Ships by the author R.J. Barker. And this is book one in the Tide Child trilogy. And I'd heard good things about it, and so I picked it up. And it is a very interesting book, but it definitely was a little bit hard to get into at first, just because like whenever you read a fantasy book, a lot of times the sci-fi too, they have to do a lot of world building. But like I mean, if you're a lot of the dialogue and the wording will be modernized. If like be American or British or whatever, like the vernacular will be modern. So like sometimes it'd be weird that if you're reading a fantasy book in a completely different word, but they're like using stuff for our language. It a lot of times feels weird, but as a reader, it's much easier to read when they do that. And like for this one though, like every name of things are completely different. Like this is definitely like a seafaring journey, but like even like all the seafaring terms, they're like all different. And that's so funny. Like it took me a while to get into it though, because like you're like, what the hell, the deck child? What's that? Like I was like, oh, like, and they like even how they say like even the terms for like aft, like the size of the ship are different, but it would make sense because that's what it is. And in this world, like there are these like we don't know, I don't know how far away, but as far as they know, there's all these. There's only like there's two nations. One is like the 100 Islands, which has like a bunch of small islands like to the east, and then to the west is it's like mostly big islands, and they're like the villains, and they're like demonized, but like there's this like an eternal war between them, and like they but the thing is, on their island they don't have huge trees to build ships like it would in our world. So but there have been these like dragons of the sea, like these giant leviathans that they're back in the day they used to hunt, and then they realized they could build ships out of them. And then now for like 100 years or so, none of these dragons, these sea dragons, have been seen. So like they're some of the ships are decrepit, or they're like they can't really build any new ships. You can harvest old bone and like try to make like new ships out of it, but like, and that's kind of like they're in a standstill in this war. But then now there's news that another of these monsters has been seen, and like they're kind of in a journey to try to either to stop other people from killing this, and maybe that they want to preserve the species, or they could kill it for themselves, or kill it so no one could get it, so no one could get the bones and build new ships and change the tide of the war. I wish that like this is the kind of book that you need the glossary. Like I wish I would have read the glossary through a little bit first, but the glossary is at the very end of the book, and it's like oh I didn't realize there was a glossary until like I'm already in it. But like that's what I see. The appendix. This is a book that you should look at the appendix, like get an idea of what the terms are. Just because, like I said, I wasn't really getting it that much because like it was like there's so many different words. Like I couldn't like there's a certain flow when you're reading. Like when you're reading, you get in the flow, and like you read the words on the page, but like they turn into something else in your mind, and you're seeing it played out in your mind as you're reading it, and you get a really good flow going. And I couldn't get a good flow going because there's so many different terms, and I my brain kept breaking up. I was like, well, what's that mean? But like once I got like at a certain point, I was thinking that that's okay. I guess this is just a good shitter book. And a good shitter book, it means that like the chapters are relatively short, so that like you get you read the book on while you're on the shitter, read a chapter, and then put away. You don't feel like you need to continue. But at a certain point, I took the book around with me and read it elsewhere. Like I read it like just I read a bunch of chapters at once because I was kind of enthralled by it. But like I had to get into it at first. But like I mean, but it's really interesting. But like this whole thing, like their children are born like there so many times like children are born with deformities or like missing limbs or like the mothers die in childbirth so often. But like it's created this ruling class called the Bairn. Like that's like the ruling class of the Hundred Isles. Essentially, they're the people that their mothers didn't die and the children are born strong. And like there's this somebody think the Bairn caste are like the second class citizens, and they're the ones that with deformities, or they're ones with their mother died in childbirth. And like this whole thing where like where like if you the mother they if you give birth to a healthy child, and you're no then like and the mother doesn't die, like they think they you were able to raise up into the class the Burns, like to be a higher ruling class, because that now you know that you can give good babies, like you healthy babies. But there's this weird thing that like they like your firstborn, if it's not deformed, is given to the ships made out of the bones of these dragons, like, and like they sacrifice the babies, and then they become these lights that float above the ships that kind of represent how healthy the ship is. But then once they all die, like they can turn into a black ship, and that's like kind of like more of like a dying ship. It's not like, it's almost like slightly alive, the other ones. But like when they become like that, the main ship in this book is a black ship. Essentially, like all the prisoners, like people that like that part of the Navy, that if they do something wrong and instead of just sent to jail, they may be sent to the black ships. And then on there, if they perform some duty, some heroic duty, they could potentially like rise up from that and serve on a regular ship. And the main character in this book, and the viewpoint character, is Joran, and he was it's like a fisherman. Like his mother died giving birth to him, but like his father, like there's nothing wrong with him though. He's not deformed or anything, and he was a fisherman with his dad, and his dad taught him like how to live off the sea. But like as like before this book started, the a bone ship came and crushed his dad in between the spines of the bone ship and their fishing boat and killed him. And then like he went and challenged the captain of this bone ship to a duel. With like he wanted to give him like five token, 5 pieces of silver or something. That's all your father was worth. So he challenges to a duel, and the captain gets drunk, thinking that it would be so easy to kill this Baron Cask fisherman, and then but instead the Joran kills him. But this guy, he is a noble, and he is an important noble, so like the father like essentially sentences him to a black ship to die, like even though he wasn't even in the Navy or in, but like but at this point then he on this black ship, like the captain dies or something, and I say captain, but the book doesn't call it a captain. They call it the shipwife. And it's something like in our world, like ships are generally feminine. In this world, ships are masculine, and like the captain is the shipwife, and it's like, and then like the underneath them is like the deck keeper, and then there's like so many different things that are completely unique. And it's daunting when you first start reading it, but when you get into it and when you learn the vernacular, it really feels like you're in a different world, and it really works excellently. And it's like, but like he. Like there's this in the ship that all the other people like on the black ship, they kind of the different stronger people that like they all vying for captains, and this is all before the start of the book. But essentially they decide that, hey, this new guy that doesn't have any allegiances, let's make him the shipwife, and that they do, and that, that's where the book starts. But like Joran essentially beached the ship at a certain point, and then sold the maps for liquor. And he is living in this little cabin on the beach, drinking himself to death, mourning his father. When someone comes to wake him out of his depression, a lucky Mies, and like she is like the first daughter, which she was supposed to be sacrificed to ships, but she survived. Like the ocean wouldn't have her. Like the ocean, like there's like a tsunami, no, it's not tsunami. There's the waves came and pulled the babe in and brought it back, and prevented it from being sacrificed. So that's why she's like lucky. but like she's like this 13 bairn, like kind of like the leader of the country because she's giving birth to like 13 healthy children. And but she like she has been, for some reason that we don't know, she was sentenced to a black ship, and now she's come to take the two-tailed shipwife's hat from Joran, and like she fights him for it, and this like kind of beats him like not like nothing, and then says like wants him to be the deck keeper because she sees some potential in him. Then like the rest story is them this journey of them trying to like save or maybe kill this dragon. I think a lot of times they call it like the Kishan. Like I would say, like when they see it coming up, like the Kishan rising, and it's like this massive thing, and it's really interesting, like how like because like there's like this Gulame, which is like this other creature, like this bird-like creature that like is sentient, but it can speak. But it's like it can like control the winds. But like the one they had is like super powerful, but won't like follow orders. So it was sentenced to a bone ship, and I mean to a black ship, and like they. Like Joran has to he has to befriend it and try to get him to work with them, and like there's just so much interesting stuff with that, like because like he can almost like when they have to take him to a wind spire, but after like he like is like wind drunk or something, after like he saves them from things, and but he has to like these birds have to go to a wind spire, and that like recharges them their magic or something, and like and Joran like he can hear the song, like he can hear like the wind song, like there's something else within him, there's some potential in him that no one knows about or something, that there's so much interesting stuff here, and like the action, like I think it's very like, visceral, like they don't like he's not like a sword master, but like when how they depict it, like how RJ Barker depicts it, it's all really well done. Like I like the like it's like the one describing like all of the action like bit by bit, but it feels like it is enthralling though, like it is well written, and it just it must have been so tough to keep track of all this stuff, but it feels lived in. The world feels lived in. Like once you get into it, like it feels like it's its own world. It feels like it's not derivative of anything else. Like maybe the only thing I could be like slightly inspired by Robin Hobb's Live Ship Traders trilogy. You know, but even though like the ships they aren't sentient anymore, they're just made from the bones of the sea dragons. But that's the only thing that I feel like is slightly inspired this book. But like it's an excellent book, and I would definitely recommend it. I'm definitely looking forward to reading the rest of the series. The only thing, it's funny, I ordered like the book from Amazon, but like the book 2 and 3, they're available on Amazon, but you have to pay like shipping. So like I don't know if like if they're not, I don't know what is going on with that, but I downloaded the Kindle for the next one, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing where the series goes, and I would definitely recommend it. It's very different. Like you have to be patient with it though. Like don't give up on it when if you get like bogged down by all the terms. It's once you get into it, once you figure out the vernacular, it's really great book. Probably give it like a 9 out of 10. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.